Duchess's political ambitions make perfect sense, but she'll have to make a hard choice if she follows through with them. Meghan Markle would have to renounce her UK titles if she wanted to run for political office in the United States, a constitutional expert has said. The U.S. Constitution specifies that people holding U.S. office may not accept foreign titles unless they have congressional approval. But Harvard professor Mark Tushnet says that the likelihood of their approval is very slim. He said, "I don't think it's ever happened before. I think the chances of Congress allowing her to retain her titles would be very slim." But he added, technically, she could run without renouncing her titles and could even serve if elected if Congress approved. However, he said that retaining the titles would be politically damaging. Professor Tushnet continued, as a practical matter, though, she'd have to renounce her titles to run. Politically it would be quite damaging, I think, for her to retain the titles. Opponents will seize on anything, and this will be a hook to say, well, she's not really a true American. The policy is specified in Section 9 of the U.S. Constitution. Professor Tushnet said it arises from concern about the influence that foreign governments would have on U.S. policy. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were allowed to keep their titles after they stepped back from royal duties and moved to California at the start of last year. But, according to Professor Tushnet, the Duchess would still retain her celebrity status even without the titles. He said, having been a royal, the celebrity status would still attach, whether she has a formal title or not. U.S. politics professor Richard Johnson told Express.co.uk that the Duchess' celebrity status would help her bypass the normal routes into politics. He said, "I think Americans take a very keen interest in British royalty, and there is a lot of attention from the U.S. public whenever there are stories relating to the royal family. There is some record of celebrity politicians doing pretty well in the U.S. Obviously, Meghan and Harry are based in California, and California has produced Ronald Reagan, who was an actor, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was an actor." This comes amid increasing speculation about whether or not the 40-year-old royal may run for U.S. office in the future, after she penned an overtly political letter to Congress, lobbying them for paid leave. However, defending her decision to engage with the issue, Meghan described it as humanitarian, rather than political. Speaking to the New York Times Deal book, she said, "Look, there's certainly a precedent among my husband's family and the royal family of not having any involvement in politics. I mean, paid leave, from my standpoint, is just a humanitarian issue." Commenting on Meghan Markle's surprise appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show, a royal correspondent wrote, "The Duchess of Sussex is seeking to bolster her image after her apology for misleading a court in the UK." Writing for UK's Daily Express, Richard Palmer said, "Parts of the US media until now has largely portrayed the wife of Prince Harry as a victim." Talking about a New York Times report, he said, "I may be wrong, but I don't believe the New York Times covered the appeal hearing on the day it was hosting an event at which Meghan spoke." He said the piece run by the website of the publication published the story at the end of last week. "It's an interesting piece because it does raise Meghan's credibility problem with an East Coast, liberal, middle-class audience," Palmer wrote while commenting on nytimes.com's piece headlines for Meghan, an image rendered in a UK-US split screen. He added, "But it also repeats many of the false assumptions that has made much US media coverage of the Sussexes' exit so unreliable."